When the alien healer refused help, the human whispered, "Easy now." Blood smeared across the polished floor of the orbital clinic as the restrained creature roared, its guttural cry shaking the reinforced glass. Dr. Lyra Sen tightened her jaw, her compound eyes flicking over the glowing readouts on the monitors. The Corthan's vitals were plummeting, each heartbeat weaker than the last. "Sedation failing," announced her assistant, a nervous, silver-skinned Evri who kept his distance from the containment field. "Heart rate unstable. Internal hemorrhage worsening." Lyra had treated countless beings in her 3 decades as a xenoveterinarian. Her insectoid brain processed data faster than most organic species. Every medical protocol, every surgical technique, all memorized, all catalogued. But this time, every rule said the same thing: do not approach. The Corthan thrashed again, its 6-clawed limbs gouging deep trenches into the floor. Its fur, once a dark copper sheen, was now slick with blood and fear. This species hailed from Voron Prime, a gravity-scarred world where survival meant violence. The Galactic Registry labeled them, Class 9 predators. Dangerous. Unpredictable. Untreatable. Protocol was clear. If a Class 9 shows feral behavior under duress, humane termination is the only acceptable course. "Prepare the termination sequence," Lyra ordered quietly. Before her assistant could move, a voice cut through the sterile air. "Wait." Everyone turned. A human, tall, dark-haired, his uniform still bearing the insignia of Earth's old veterinary corps, stood at the edge of the bay. Dr. Evan Cole. He'd arrived 3 days ago from a minor planetary outpost. Lyra had read his file. Rural background. Treated livestock and companion animals. Nothing about handling apex predators. "You have an objection?" Lyra asked, irritation creeping into her voice. "I do," Evan said, stepping closer to the shimmering energy barrier. "You're reading aggression." "I'm seeing fear." Lyra's mandibles clicked. "Fear or aggression, both are lethal in this case." "Not the same thing," he countered. "Look at his eyes." Reluctantly, she zoomed in. The Corthan's pupils weren't narrowed in attack, they were wide, darting between corners. Its breathing came fast, uneven. Evan nodded slightly. "He's terrified. Guarding his left side. That's where your bleeding's coming from. He's not trying to attack. He's trying to protect himself." Lyra said nothing. Her logic circuits rebelled against the idea, but her instincts, old, hidden beneath layers of procedure, whispered that he might be right. "Standard sedatives don't work," said her assistant. "We cannot approach safely." Evan's gaze stayed on the creature. "Then don't use sedatives." "Let me try." A stunned silence fell. "That would be suicide," Lyra said flatly. "Maybe," he replied, eyes calm. "Or maybe you're missing something." Lyra studied him. This human with his strange softness, his reckless empathy. Humans were infamous in xenobiology for their fascination with dangerous animals. They kept predators as pets. They trusted beasts that logic said should kill them. She'd never understood it. But the Corthan was dying. "Lower the barrier," she said at last. Her assistant stared. "Doctor. Just the front section. And document everything." Evan took a slow breath as the containment field hummed down. 3 meters separated him from death. He crouched low, turning his body slightly, avoiding direct eye contact. Every being in the room froze. The Corthan's head snapped toward him. Its snarl rattled the walls. Evan didn't move. His voice came soft, steady, the sound of calm amid chaos. "Easy now, easy, big guy." The growl faltered. The creature's nostrils flared, tasting his scent. Evan took another small step. "Nobody's here to hurt you." "I know it hurts. Let me help." Lyra's mandibles clicked nervously as she recorded every frame. This shouldn't have been working. By all logic, the Corthan should have struck, but instead, its body was trembling, confused between instinct and trust. When Evan finally reached out, his hand trembling only slightly, and pressed it against the creature's head, the bay went silent. "I've got you," he whispered. And impossibly, the Corthan stilled. Lyra's heart thudded in disbelief. The human had done what sedation, containment, and logic could not. He had simply spoken. But deep inside, she knew, this was only the beginning. The Corthan's breathing steadied, for now. But Lyra's sensors flashed an alert, internal bleeding accelerating. If Evan truly meant to save the creature, he'd have to perform surgery by touch alone. And the alien wasn't done testing his trust yet. For a long moment, no one in the clinic breathed. The Corthan's chest rose and fell in slow, shuddering gasps, blood pooling beneath its wounded flank. Evan's hand remained pressed gently against the creature's skull, his voice a soft current of reassurance. "Good," he murmured. "You're doing fine. Just stay with me." Dr. Lyra Sen stood frozen behind the glass. Logic screamed to intervene, to re-establish the containment field, but the raw stillness of the moment held her there. Every calculation said the human should already be dead, but the numbers had been wrong before. "Vital stabilizing, slightly," whispered the AVRI assistant. "But internal hemorrhage is critical. He'll bleed out within minutes." Evan didn't look away. "Then we treat him." "You can't," Lyra said sharply. "Your scanners won't sync with Corthan physiology. Their blood chemistry interferes with standard medtech." "Then I'll use what I've got." Evan crouched lower, one hand still resting on the Corthan's head as he traced along its ribs with the other. His fingers moved with slow, deliberate care, feeling for fractures the scanners couldn't read. "Here," he said quietly, pressing against the creature's side. The Corthan twitched, groaning, not in rage, but pain. "Fractured ribs," Evan continued. "Left lung collapse. It's filling with blood." Lyra stepped forward despite herself. "How can you possibly know that without diagnostic imaging?" Evan looked up, his eyes calm but intense. "Bodies talk if you know how to listen." That answer unsettled her more than she wanted to admit. She watched him work, slow, steady, murmuring comfort with every motion. Every instinct she had screamed that it was reckless, unscientific, and yet, somehow, undeniably effective. "Get me biosealant, regeneration mesh, and a thermal shroud," Evan said. "He's going into shock." The AVRI hesitated. "A shroud? For what?" "Warmth," Evan replied without missing a beat. "His nose is cold. Temperature's crashing." The assistant blinked. "You noticed that?" Evan smiled faintly. "It's the little things." Within moments, supplies arrived. Lyra forced herself past the failing containment line, stepping into the same air as the predator. The scent of blood was thick, copper and ozone. The Corthan's massive head lifted as she approached, lips curling back in warning. Evan immediately applied firmer pressure to its skull. "Hey," he said gently, "it's all right. She's with me. She's here to help." A sound, low, uncertain, rumbled in the creature's chest. Then, slowly, its body eased again. Lyra's secondary heart skipped a beat. "He understands you." "Not my words," Evan murmured, "just my tone. Intent translates." He motioned for her to scan the damaged side while he prepped the drainage tube. She hesitated only a moment before kneeling beside him, activating her wrist display. Insertion point, 7 centimeters beneath the 5th rib, angled toward the spine. "Got it," he said softly. "Big breath, buddy." The Corthan tensed as the tube slid in. Blood and fluid gushed, then slowed. Its breathing deepened almost instantly. The transformation was startling, where moments ago there had been panic, now there was exhausted trust. Pressure normalizing, Lyra whispered, eyes wide. He's stabilizing. Evan exhaled shakily, still stroking the creature's head. Told you he just needed a reason to believe us. For the next hour, they worked side by side. Lyra applied regeneration gel and mesh while Evan kept constant contact, murmuring softly as he set fractures by touch alone. The alien's pulse steadied with each reassurance. Even its tail, once lashing violently, now lay still against the floor. Your methods are primitive, Lyra admitted reluctantly, but astonishingly effective. Not primitive, Evan replied with a tired grin. Personal. By the time they finished, the Korthan was wrapped in a warming shroud, breathing evenly. Evan slumped to the floor beside it, blood staining his hands, fatigue pulling at his voice. He's gonna make it. Lyra stared through the fading haze of adrenaline. I don't understand. All models predict failure without sedation. Evan looked at her. You're trying to treat a body. I'm trying to reach a life. Her mandibles clicked softly, the insectoid equivalent of wonder. She activated her datapad and began recording. This must be documented. The Galactic Council will not believe it. Good, Evan said, closing his eyes. Maybe they'll finally start asking why fear is our first instinct, instead of compassion. The Korthan gave a low, resonant purr, pressing its snout weakly against his shoulder, a gesture of gratitude from a creature no one thought capable of such emotion. Lyra turned away, both humbled and unsettled. The human had crossed a line no alien dared approach, and somehow lived. But as the lights dimmed in the medical bay, her sensors chimed again. Alert, incoming transport. Critical patient. Species, unknown. She looked toward Evan, still sitting beside the resting Korthan, his hand on its chest. Doctor, she said quietly, you'd better get some rest. Evan opened one eye, a weary smile forming. Or maybe, he said, standing, someone else out there just needs to be heard. The emergency bay doors hissed open, and what came through wasn't just another patient. It was a creature no one had ever dared to treat before, and it was already dying.